My home is empty without my mommy. I miss my daddy. My mom is always with me in my heart.
My mom, Judy, was a nurse. She cared for people. That's what she did. That's what her life was about. She was the most compassionate and selfless person that I've ever known. And she was an amazing mother to me and my two brothers. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 7 years old, and I remember not knowing what breast cancer even was at that age. She battled the disease for 5 years, and ultimately she died when I was 12 years old. And so it was a very difficult and sad time in my life and my family's life. I was angry and I was confused, and I really didn't know what direction my life was going to take. It wasn't until I was older that I realized how big of an impact losing my mom at such a young age had on my life. It affected every part of me from the inside and out. And when I was drafted by the Denver Broncos and I was in a position to give back, I wanted to help that population of kids that were going through a similar loss that I had had.
You know, from the time I was a young girl, I knew I wanted to be a child psychologist to help children and families in need. And when I met Brian, and when he shared with me his dream of helping other children who grieve the death of someone that they loved like he did, I knew that we had an opportunity to really do something special together. And it wasn't long after that that we started Judy's House. Most people don't realize that 1 out of 20 children will lose a parent or sibling before the age of 18. So it's a huge social issue. I think there's a sentiment in our society that kids just bounce back, that death is a part of life and that kids are resilient. And while that is true, that children are naturally resilient, without appropriate support, there are so many complications of unaddressed grief and trauma that we know can really get in the way for kids as they're developing.
The goal when we started Judy's House was to create a safe and comfortable environment for these kids to come and meet other kids that were going through the same thing that they were. So they realize they're not the only ones. And then we can use a curriculum to help them through that grieving process so that ultimately they build those coping mechanisms inside of them to deal with what they're going through in their life.
We were very intentional about putting Judy's House in a safe, old, comfortable house, a beautiful space, an easy door to walk through, so that when children and families came here, they instantly felt safe and comfortable and like they were coming to a friend's house instead of a sterile clinical environment.
And telling their story is a big part of the process and the curriculum for these children, giving them as many different forms of expression through art, through sand tray therapy. For our teenagers, taking photos of what their grief looks like to them and what their healing looks like to them. And then the conversations in the rooms together, learning to respect each other's stories and be present to each other is a big part of the curriculum that goes on in the house.
It's amazing to me to see the change in kids happen so quickly. The first time they walk through the door, often there's fear, there's worry in their eyes, but quickly that seems to melt away. They see the picture of Judy hanging over the fireplace and greeting them as they walk in, and they see the handprints of children who have come here before them, leaving them messages of hope and encouragement. And they instantly realize that this is a place where they find the support that they need and connect with others who know what they're going through and find ways to get through this incredibly difficult time in their life.
It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. Judy's House helped my heart heal. I don't feel alone anymore.
You know, I think it's pretty simple. No child should ever have to be alone in grief.
That has been the vision that has been driving us from day one. We've been a direct service provider in this community for 13 years. And during that time, we've been able to serve nearly 7,000 children, teens, and caregivers. But we know that we're just barely scratching the surface and have more work to do. And to us, that means reaching as many children and families as we can in Metro Denver, but also empowering other communities to be able to support their children and families.
We are currently at capacity at Judy's House. We can't serve any more children than we currently serve on a yearly basis. And so for the future, rather than build more Judy's Houses, we have decided to invest in creating knowledge and sharing knowledge. And that's the establishment of the Judith and Griese Institute, which will take what we do here at Judy's house and make it available and accessible to more and more children and families every single day.
We were so fortunate to be able to purchase another lovely home right across the street from Judy's house for our amazing staff. And we're excited that at JAG Institute, we'll be able to reach even more children and families through evaluation and research efforts and by training and educating others in this model of care.
You know, in order for us to realize our vision, that no child should feel alone in grief, it's a team approach. It really is. It's a community approach. We want to meet the need in our community right here in Denver. We want to partner in this community with others that will help us deliver this vision. And ultimately, we need the support of the community to accomplish that. So together, we want to create that system of care, that safety net that will catch these kids, get them the services that they need, prevent the negative outcomes in the long run, and make a much more healthy society.
We're just so grateful and proud to be a part of a community that would rally in this way to meet a need that was not being met. And I hope that the community will continue to support the work that we're doing, not only here at Judy's house, but the work that we are going to help promote everywhere through JAG Institute.
We all are connected.
You are stronger than you think.
You know, just the other night I was co-facilitating a group for parents who had a child or a spouse die by suicide, and it was such an emotional and heavy night. But it was so beautiful because these families were connecting around their tragedy and supporting each other in a way that only people who have walked that journey can do. And I stepped out of the room and saw a picture of Judy hanging over the mantle and felt her spirit, not only watching over all of us, but supporting every child in that house, every parent and caregiver as they find their own way.
My mom would have been proud. She would be proud of what Judy's house is, what it's doing in this community, but most importantly, she would be proud of those kids that come here every day.